What's good, everybody? Kenneth Bear here. Touchdowns and tangents. Riding solo this week. Pete had a bunch of stuff he had to do, but he might call in. We'll see how that goes. Um, just wanted to say shout out to, as always, Good News Sports, Good News Radio. Salute to Keith, Michael, whole Good News family. Salute to everybody. If you don't have the app, I'm just gonna assume you just hate people, in particular Black people and Latino people, and I just want to know why. Like why are you such a hater? Like how do you not like independent media brought to you free of charge through an app that this man slaved over for like the past 5 6 years, by a multitude of people who bring you shows from the soil, talking to people from the soil. You get literally so much rich quality content from the stuff here. And I mean, the only agenda we got on Touchdown to Tangents is the truth and these jokes. So, we gonna tap in. Salute to, you know, our usuals, everyone out there in the world listening to us who supports us wherever you at. Every barbershop across the country in the world who's been having debates about what we're about to talk about and deep dive on. Salute to Full Press Coverage. Salute to T, the whole family, Obi, everybody, Ray. Just salute to all y'all. Salute to X Squad affiliates. You can literally, I think they broadcast our show like every Wednesday. I want to say like Wednesday and Saturday. Either way, pretty much you follow X Squad affiliates. Type in Touchdown to Tangents and all the dope shows they got. You'll find us there too. So salute to our affiliates, everybody we work with. Again, lovely studio, new studio. The last one was legendary. It had its run. I think we're emotionally away from it now. So I just want to say, because I'm trying to start the show off real positive, because what I'm about to talk to is just mad depressing. It's mad depressing and sad. Um, so if you didn't know, oh man, if you fucking stupid Pete. Don't you hate it when your co-host should actually be here or actually calling in, but they text you while you're on the air to talk? Yeah, fam, you lost my train of thought. Anyway, so Henry Ruggs, a couple days ago, this is the Raiders bye week. Former first round pick, first receiver taken in his draft class. He was leading the team in receiving yards. He was averaging like 22 yards a catch. I think he had like 4 or 5 touchdowns, like 469 receiving yards. He was having a breakout year. Um, Gets on his bye week. Him and his girlfriend, mother of his child, get into an accident. He was, from court documents and everything, he was going about 151 miles an hour down the street. In the early mornings, almost like 3 in the morning, something like that. And he got into a crash, killing a young lady, 23-year-old lady. She worked at Target. Her name right now is totally escaping me. I feel bad about that part. But like, it just gets sadder and sadder. So I'm just gonna give you pretty much the bare essentials, and then you can look up the video of him crying and like just despondent and depressed after the accident, like right after it happened, because he actually tried to save the lady's life. Um, he hit her car going like 150 plus miles an hour in a Corvette. His him Ruggs's uh, girlfriend had much more significant injuries. Unfortunately, the young lady who was 23, she died. The flames pretty much engulfed the car faster than Ruggs. Ruggs tried to get her out of the car, and the flames pretty much engulfed it. Car blew up. Her and the dog died. And he had a gun in the car. In Vegas, DUI that leads to a death is easily like 2 years, hard time. But then with the gun in the car, he could possibly serve up to 10. Um, Depending on how they want to charge him. The Raiders immediately cut him, took all his merch out the store, stripped his locker, everything. It's like he never played for the team. And he actually had a childhood friend. Every time he scores, he throws up the three. He had a childhood friend that died in a car accident. So the video of him crying and just being uncontrollable after this accident and him showing up in court with the neck brace and the look in his eyes. Like, what he did was stupid, and he could have called an Uber. He was playing at the Top Golf earlier in the night, drinking. And this goes to show if you're an NFL player, like, I'm pretty sure they have a car system. Like, and just in general, if you know you're going to drink, don't drive. It's really that simple because these things happen. And the sad part is, it could have been even worse. Imagine if everybody in the crash died. Now Henry Ruggs has to grow up without his mother. The child of Henry Ruggs has to grow up without a mother and a father. Um, it's just really sad and unfortunate. But I hope people don't abandon him. He's only like 23. I think we can all remember all the dumb shit that we're not proud of that we did at 23 that we got away with. I don't think we should write this man's entire life off. I do hope he gets another chance to play. Probably won't be for until this whole legal situation is resolved. It's just sad that he worked so hard to get to where he is, was a first round pick, had everything going for him, and now his life is changed forever. If not, you know, I don't want to say gone and done for, but the realistic possibility of him ever making it back to the league is probably non-existent. It's probably not going to happen, and that's truly sad and unfortunate because you never want to see something like that. Hey, Pete, I put orange on our shit because, well, Halloween was this past week, and I dressed up as uh, Jack Skellington, or because I know you can't come up with this joke because you're not that funny. I was gonna say Fat Skellington, the Fat Man Before Christmas, but yeah, I dressed up as Jack Skellington, and my nephew Isaiah was dressed up in a Looney Tunes Space Jam 2 um onesie. So it was dope. It was a great time. And that's why it's orange. And orange is my favorite color. And I didn't feel like picking blue. So shut your ass up. There. But anyway. It's just drunk driving in general. I just never really understood. Like, I have family member. Okay, he's 22. And it holy shit, I remember definitely the stupid things I did at 22. I'm just not going to talk about. But he was 22 years old, didn't hit his Jordan year. And she was 23. The person that he killed, the young lady that he killed, was 23. All in the same age bracket. She was working at Target, coming home late from work. And he had a gun in the car. Apparently, like, who knows his mental, what he was dealing with, what he was going through. And he comes from the South. He came out of poverty, but he had exceptional talent and he worked for it. And to see all that washed down the drain, it's really sad and unfortunate. Um, so just do yourself a favor tonight and pray for his family, the victim's family. Um, and if you go out with friends who like to drink, make sure like they got your number on call. Make sure, hey, you get too drunk, text me to call you an Uber, and I'll do it. No questions asked. Because this shit is DUIs are avoidable, 100% avoidable. And people want to say, "Oh, I know what I can handle. I know what I can manage." No, you don't. Everybody thinks they know what they can handle until shit get too real. Like, life doesn't move at the speed you want it to. You react at the speed you want to life. That's how that works. Or you react at the speed that you can react to um in life. People get hit by cars every day in broad daylight. So, joyriding or speeding, especially in Vegas, man. Like, just take care of yourselves out there, please. And say a prayer for your loved ones and for people out there who are going through shit like this, because you never really recover from something like that. Nor does the family, because it's like this could have been prevented, and they might have hate or some anguish forever aimed at that man. Like, his kids might get bullied later in life because of what he did. So, like, drunk driving never. Honestly, you're the last person drunk driving affects. Drunk driving affects everybody around you, and depending on the situation, you either get off easy or you just live with the survivor's guilt, which you kind of deserve. So, just keep that in mind. But on to other things, not as depressing, but definitely, I would say, controversial. Yeah, Derek Carr. That's one thing I will say. Like, say what you want about Derek Carr. I mean, I literally have my fantasy team, which, by the way, fuck the New York Jets defense. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts defense. How dare you sit up here and drop 30 in garbage time? Yeah, I'm losing money. But anyway, um, Derek Carr, he interviewed and he said, we're not going to abandon him. And you can't abandon a young kid like that. People under the age of 25 do stupid shit. I mean, you can't throw away young people. And I have to sometimes tell myself that you can't throw away young people. Just because you didn't make the mistake and you know better doesn't mean somebody else does. And sometimes you have to give people the credence and the mercy that you didn't get, or they need, in spite of how you feel about it. And that, from personal experience, I can tell you that's some humbling shit. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, on to Aaron Rodgers. So some might say he lied through omission. He said he was, and I won't say not inoculated, but immunized. And people didn't really dig much deeper once he said that he was immunized. So he essentially gamed the system about not being vaccinated this whole time. And now he has COVID. Devontae Adams is going off the COVID list. So some people might say, oh, well, he's the super spreader. His teammates got COVID because of him. But technically, even if you get the vaccine, you can still get COVID or pass on COVID to somebody, because that's how diseases work. You don't get to control who gets it and who doesn't. Um, so people are shitting on him. But I just find it interesting that nobody's gonna kill Aaron Rodgers in the media the way they've been killing Kyrie Irving. Kyrie didn't spit in the face of team rules. He said, I'm not comfortable getting vaccinated, so I'll deal with the repercussions of not getting vaccinated. And he's doing so. Aaron Rodgers technically lied to your face. And he's pissed with the NFL about how his shit got leaked, which goes to my point. Nobody has any medical privacy anymore because of this whole COVID thing. Nobody has any medical privacy anymore. That's gone. Sorry. Eventually, people are gonna like start demand jobs might start. Yeah, like Pete said, like he didn't lie. I mean, it's wonderful. Like he found the perfect middle ground. See. That's why you need to know the definition of words and have a thesaurus on you, because immunized is a great way of getting around stuff. But now that everybody wants documentation and they want your papers, kind of, dating back to less than great times in European history and other places where there were famine or wild, foul, disrespectful shit going on in the society. People want to see your papers. People want to. People want to say, okay, he didn't lie. Somebody didn't do their due diligence, but he found a loophole. He really didn't lie, so you can't get mad at him. So if Kyrie Irving said immunized, the funny thing is, y'all still would have killed him, because America loves to kill black men. But I could just go about that all day. But Don't worry, I'll circle back to the 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 racism. Um, Lamar, oh yeah, Lamar got killed for the COVID thing too. But since then, he's been quiet, and once he got vaccinated, that's what I don't like about people, about humans, when they decide to gang up on people because you're stupid or because you feel safer in your convictions when you can bully somebody else. That's what this shit really comes down to. Hold on. Hold on. Kenny said, let me okay. Get my thesaurus out. My pocket is a disrespectful. Yes, I mean, extemporaneously. Like I wrote the rundown, extemporaneously. Pete still don't know what that shit means. And you took more comms classes than me. But I think this is a point we need to really point out the hypocrisy. Like I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling you, more people are against this than you realize. And not only that, more people don't want their medical rights infringed on. And I think a lot of people don't understand the concept of medical rights. But I'm telling you, somebody's going to draw a through line. Somebody's going to point to where, oh, so you know how like you want women to have all these medical rights, and you want people with disabilities to have these medical rights on a job, and then you want. I'm telling you, somebody's going to put all this shit together. They're going to throw it all in a pot and be like, how are my medical rights less valuable than the next person's? So because these people got vaccinated, now I have to give up my medical rights because they did. I'm telling you, it's gonna cause a shitstorm when somebody gets COVID during the Super Bowl, because that's gonna happen. Or somebody gets COVID before the Super Bowl, and God forbid it be the Rams. Knock on wood, hopefully not. And then somebody's like, nah. Or a team that's not even gonna make the playoffs starts an outbreak on a team that makes the playoffs. See, this is a slippery line, and you're peeling back the layers with how this thing goes with Aaron Rodgers, because you can't technically punish him, and he can sue you if you do. He didn't lie. He said he was immunized. Well, if you want to talk about immunization and who's immune to what, then yeah. If you can provide medical documents and paperwork to prove that, then you can get out of his face. Technically, I'm immune to a lot of shit. I still got vaccinated because I need to work in the fields I'm working in. Okay, fine. That's just a little rule you're going to play. Now, I've had some side effects from the vaccine, and I'm like, Kenneth Hippaberry. Ha ha ha. Funny. But no, I mean, and people don't understand HIPAA or the other violations, but that's a whole nother story, Pete. But like, this is like the tip of the iceberg, a Sarah Rodgers situation, because more and more people are going to say that who aren't vaccinated, they're going to say I'm immunized. I've been on a team full of people. We've had COVID outbreaks, and I still haven't gotten COVID. So you can't blame me. And if more information is coming out saying even if you get vaccinated, you're still going to get COVID, how are you going to tell a world class athlete who, let's say, may have never been injured or realistically or anything like that, how are you going to tell them to their face they got to do this when Aaron Rodgers got away with it? So we can all just say we're immunized. So now you're going to police the word immunized. Now you're going to find another way to take away somebody's rights. You're overstepping what, I mean, you know how the saying goes, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. You have good intentions with what you're doing, with what you're trying to put in place, but you're just naturally going to overstep it because of the fear of just people. Fam, I'm not saying that. What, Pete? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, why would you really type that in the chat? Like, you should go to a doctor if your balls get bigger from taking a vaccine. I just want to point that out. Or shit, let's just get a Blue Chew sponsorship. I'm down to get a Blue Chew sponsorship for real though. Blue Chew, if you're listening, we're just gonna put this clip in there. We're hoping for business. Um, but yeah, that's all I really got to say about the Aaron Rodgers thing. That's it. Uh, So Von Miller got traded to the Rams, and I think that's the real reason Pete's ball shrank because he took the vaccine. Ha ha. I don't care if that's a lie or conjecture. I'm just gonna say it because it's funny, and you type smaller in the chat. Anyway, so yeah, Von Miller got traded to the Rams. I think that's the real reason Pete didn't show up tonight because he's probably having a conniption in his fucking living room right now. Again, he doesn't know what conniption means either, but let's just break this down. Von Miller got traded because the Broncos are fire selling and Nick Fangio is going to get fired. Drew Lock and shout out to Classic Burger. Yes, that's an inside joke. By the way, if you go to Classic Burger, Pete, next time, get the teriyaki bowl. They give you a big ass set of fries and a salad. Or actually, a big ass side of fries or a salad. But they don't give you no teriyaki sauce, which is trash, but you get a whole full container of teriyaki chicken and rice. And I'm telling you, that shit is flame. Now, you got to go somewhere else to get the teriyaki sauce, but that shit is flight. That shit is Baby Keem's new album good. But anyway, so Von Miller got traded, I think for like a fourth round pick, second round pick, whatever. Pretty much, the Rams are like, fuck them draft picks. Because, I mean, if you're winning a Super Bowl, you're going to get the last pick anyway, so you might as well go for broke. Go balls out till you fall out. Hopefully not from COVID, you know. But, yeah, so Les Snead pretty much just gave up his remaining picks, and all they have left is a fifth round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Fuck it, who needs a fifth round pick when you're trying to win the Super Bowl? Now you have three of the best players at their position in league history. Jalen Ramsey's still on his way as far as like, but he's one of the elite coverman shutdown corners, defensive backs in general in a while. He can do everything better than pretty much everybody, with the exception of getting a lot of interceptions. But that's because people don't throw to him as much. But Von Miller, yes, is now a Los Angeles Ram. And if you have the LA Rams in fantasy football, fuck you. Okay. Yeah. A second and a third for Von Miller. How many teams in the NFC who had a second and a third could have done that? Yes, touchdowns and tangents predicted it. I even said it. I was like, Von Miller is going to go to the Rams. And Pete was like, no, he's not. You're fucking lying. I'll quit all this shit if he does. Like, but then you rationalized, oh shit, it really could happen because it's the NFC. The Rams have the draft capital and they got the balls to make the deal. I mean, people didn't think that they would trade for Jalen Ramsey and give up Marcus Peters, but where's Marcus Peters now? And were you really going to pay Marcus Peters that much money? No, you weren't. But you'll pay Jalen Ramsey that much money. So now you have Jalen Ramsey. Now you can't double team Aaron Donald because Von Miller, if he's on the other side, oh yeah, Leonard Floyd's having a career year. So now you have Leonard Floyd, who should have always been in this position. It's just a shame. I wish they would have got Khalil Mack out of Chicago because it's not fair. Like Leonard Floyd was a bust in Chicago, and then you put him in a better position instead of having him covering people downfield. Hey, why don't you rush the passer, which is what you did at Georgia? You know, that's why you became a seventh overall pick. So now you got him having a career year and being his best self. Aaron Donald, and they're already a formidable defense with just those guys. So now, and they traded away Kenny Young to the Broncos, I think. Yeah, they traded away Kenny Young to the Broncos for like a seventh round pick. So they already made good with the Broncos. This is some brilliant shit. Shit. Kenny Young had the best game of his career, arguably, against the Lions. They trade him at his peak value for a seventh round pick to the Broncos. That's like some shit you do in Madden when you're trying to get a team's first, second, or third, fourth round pick. And you just say, fuck it, I'm going to just trade all these star players, but I'm going to swap them to you in different deals. So I'm going to give you all my fifths and sixths. Damn, that's some brilliant shit. That's brilliant for what let's need. So first they trade Kenny Young, the precursor, on some Thanos type shit. Then they come back with Infinity War. Boom. Thanos gets his head cut off in the kitchen. You know, Tony does what he does. Time travels. They get Von Miller out the deal. So essentially, you gave up a second, a third, and Kenny Young to get Von Miller. That's fucking brilliant. That's a round of applause. I mean, think about that. Think about what you could do with all those picks. So I just heard somebody yell outside. That's fucking weird. Um, but yeah, yeah. Somebody's actually yelling from outside. Then that's really fucking trippy. Like really trippy. Looks like I'm staying in the office tonight. But all right. So Thursday night football, Colts Jets. Y'all not gonna believe this shit. The Colts are up like 45-10. They end up winning still because Carson Wentz had the fantasy game of his career. They end up winning 45-30. Mike effing White gets hit on his hand and can't feel loses sensation in his wrist, so he can't throw. That happens. Yeah, fuck them picks, Pete. So that happens. Josh Johnson. We're gonna give another round of applause for Josh Johnson. Tom Menace. Josh Johnson leads them to scoring drives late in the third and fourth quarter. Elijah Moore went off. I should have kept him on my fantasy team. Now I gotta go get him again. Oh, goodness. Manchester with two C's. Hilarious. But yeah. So the Jets are god awful. I feel bad for Robert Saleh. I would have never took that Jets job because it's Siberia. It's America and Afghanistan. It was never going to be successful. It's like being the only person who doesn't have herpes at like a party where everybody has herpes. You may not get herpes, but you're gonna get like fucking strep throat. Watch, it's gonna be the punch. You get strep throat, and it might be the strep throat where they have to pull your tonsils out, and you can die from strep throat. Surprisingly, so it's just amazing to me how the Jets managed to do what they did. The Colts said, "Hey, why don't we just run the ball? Because that's just what we're good at." I'm really pissed that I had the Colts defense against the Jets because the Jets are trash. 5 points, but it's cool. I got the New Orleans Saints defense on my bench, and I'm still mad because I probably should have started them because they'll probably give me more points than the fucking Colts defense. Unbelievable. A turnstile. That's what the Colts defense is, passing wise. Just a turnstile. They played great for 3 quarters and then just, leakage. But I mean, Jonathan Taylor goes off, has almost like 200 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Naeem Hine goes off. The Jets are just bad with a couple good players sprinkled in. And are probably going to get the number one overall pick in the draft. I think Detroit somehow wins 2 games this year. Quote me, Detroit's not going 0-17. I think Detroit wins 2 games. Tell Mark, I'm going to text Mark and DP and be like, the Lions are going to win 2 games this year. I don't fucking know how, but they'll win 2 games. The Jets are by far the worst football team, period. The Jaguars at least have talent, but they just have talent with no direction in Urban Meyer. So you might as well have a fucking toddler driving a Winnebago. That's what you have. Is a toddler sitting on the gas pedal of a Winnebago, and nobody's at the wheel. Anyway, next up, what we're going to talk about is Derrick Henry got hurt. Not only is he injured and on IR, probably going to miss the rest of the year, but I'm hurt because Derrick Henry was my first fucking pick in fantasy football. Um, I'm kind of screwed. I mean, I picked up Adrian Peterson off waivers, but I'm kind of screwed. Um, I guess Denzel Mims went off. Yeah, Senior Bowl alumni. But yes, Classic Burger has Lowry's, but also like if you're a regular, they fuck up your order a lot. So there's that. But Classic Burger has great milkshakes. Like their food's cool, but they went up on their prices. But definitely, get you that teriyaki bowl. I think it's like 10 or $11. It is the best teriyaki bowl you will eat on Crenshaw, guaranteed. All right, so and this part is amazing to me because Adrian Peterson, some could say he's been blackballed out the league, right? Some people might say that with his history. Um, Set the NFL rushing record as a rookie against the Chargers. Still stands. He could have actually. I mean, Pete, you can't call Adrian Peterson out of shape because you've never been in shape on his level. You've never been that athletic. He's obviously out of game shape because teams are just going with younger running backs and they don't want to hold on. Like it's funny how Frank Gore held on that long and then said, "Nah, I'm going to go become a professional boxer," which is weird in itself. He decided I'm going to go become a professional boxer. So you went from like CTE to like Mike Tyson CTE. Like that's crazy. Yeah, the drive through be kind of disrespectful. Like they shut shit down early at that classic burger. They really shut shit down real early. Like AP deserved another shot because let's be honest, he's the only human being in professional sports with his pedigree that can still actually go out here and play. He was formerly the Redskins' best offensive player when they were shit. Like he's literally like if I could go back in time, I would send Adrian Peterson to go fight intergalactic threats. Not LeBron. Nah, LeBron's not gonna make that sacrifice play. I'm sending Adrian Peterson, peak Adrian Peterson, in his fucking prime. You could pick freshman year at Oklahoma. Um, Literally, like AP looks like you could say he looks like Fat Thor, but also AP's AP, and he rushed for 1,000 yards with the Redskins. He was the Lions' best running back, damn near, on a trash Lions team. I mean, it's not like he can't get you 4 yards because the blocking wasn't good. This is a run blocking offensive line. So AP has enough to just get you 4 yards to carry. Hell, he's the oldest running back in NFL history to have a 90-yard rushing touchdown. Your favorite running back could never. Your favorite running back could never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, never, ever, ever, never could do that. He might be a celestial. Adrian Peterson might be a fucking celestial. Not just an eternal. He might be a celestial adjacent. Who knows? By the way, that movie comes out tonight, and the reviews have not been good, but we'll see. Um, but yeah. So on to college football. So we meet again. TCU football, right? So Gary Patterson, head coach at TCU, winning his coaching school history, blase, blase, blase. He got fired. TCU's really hasn't been going anywhere the past couple of years. That's actually an ideal job because it's Texas and they always have talent. It's Texas. They're gonna have talent. And all Texas needs is a couple 5-star recruits. Like 5-star recruits will actually produce. Like they need an Ed Oliver type impact player. Like imagine if a Leonard Fournette type guy went to TCU. Pete said, "I just hope he's not Eddie Brock minus Venom." Nah, that's is AP just an energy source? That's sick. Is he just cosmic energy embodied? Is he really Ego, the living planet? Damn, that's crazy. Is he? AP has to be attached to the Eternal Host. Probably. I wouldn't put it past him. Definitely wouldn't. But yeah, so Gary Patterson out at TCU. It's a job opening. Sonny Dykes will be a good fit. There's a lot of the SMU head coach. I forget his name. I want to say Josh Heupel, something like that. I don't think it's Josh Heupel. I think he's at UCF. But somebody, whoever's at SMU right now, that'd be a great fit. But I think, yeah, I mean, TCU is a perfect job. If you play it right, you could be there another 10 years. I would bring up college football rankings, but honestly, they haven't changed much in the past 3 weeks. It's still Georgia, it's still Cincinnati. Michigan State beat Michigan, so now all Michigan has to do is beat Ohio State. Um, Kenneth Walker the third, I think, or the second, Wake Forest transfer. He had like 130 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Guess how much Michigan State scored? 37. It was they beat Michigan 37-33. And Kenneth Walker had 5 rushing touchdowns. For those of you who can do math, a touchdown is worth 6 points. He scored 5. So he scored 30 points by himself. Team on his back. I don't even know if they did 2 point conversions or not, but that's fucking crazy. Personally, to me, that's insane. Moreover, with Michigan down in the rankings, Alabama's right there at 3, I think. 3 or 4. They're right there. Alabama's just going to stay there. Unless they get knocked off by Florida, but I doubt it. Um, Florida's interesting. I feel like they had it all and they lost it. But Cincinnati just has to win out, honestly. All Cincinnati has to do is just win out. And I hope they do. Because if they did, and Georgia beats Alabama, because they're going to play in the SEC title game, we know that. And Georgia clean sweeps Bama. Georgia and Cincinnati play in the national title game, which would be a repeat of, I think, the Peach Bowl last year. Or technically, this year. That'd be an interesting rematch. Cincinnati, Georgia, I think it would be the same result. Because Georgia has just an insane defense. Like, Georgia's scored like 200 points so far, and Georgia's defense has scored like 50. It's some weird shit. I don't know. It's a lot. But yeah, so Georgia projected first round linebacker, Adam Anderson. He's suspended pending rape allegations. Um, so there's that. I don't know what's up with Georgia and their situations, but shit like this keeps happening. And it's kind of shocking that it does. Okay, so the Longhorns head coach, assistant Jeff Banks' girlfriend, has a pet monkey. And it allegedly bit a child on Halloween. Now, if this is what I think it is, then if I'm not mistaken, she's a stripper who has a pet monkey. But hold on, because it was a haunted house on a one-sided gate. Yeah, they had no idea the monkey went in the backyard. He's the special teams coordinator and the tight ends coach at Texas. Well, Texas has been asked this year, so he might be on the chopping block because somebody has to take the blame for how bad Sarkisian's been this year. He doesn't believe the story will affect the team. They've had 3 straight losses and they're 4-4, and they're about to play Iowa State, who's known to upset them. Um, yeah, Animal Service confirmed it was a report. But I don't know if this is the same story because I heard 2 stories about a monkey biting a chick. I mean, biting a kid. But yeah, his girlfriend, Subway Goodwill. Yep. Georgia. Yeah, and fuck Texas. Nobody likes Texas. We all hate Texas for sure. And Vince Young's fucking knee was down. But yeah, Steve Sarkisian, who got into an argument with one of his players this week. And I guess that dude's off the team now. And it's funny because Sarah quarterback Malik Murphy, who's a 5-star QB, he committed to Texas. And it's like, bro, have you not seen what he does as a head coach? Let's look at Washington. Let's look at USC. Texas is trash right now, even with all their 5-star recruits. Malik Murphy, another California kid leaving to go to a school like Texas. Like USC should be disgusted. This dude went to fucking Sarah. That's a pipeline. That high school is a USC pipeline. You can't get him to come. You got all these white QBs who I don't believe Kendall Slovis is a first round pick. I don't believe it. I just believe they run a spread offense. They can't run the ball anymore. And that's what you're just gonna do. But okay. Next off, this shit to me is kind of crazy. So UCLA freshman defensive lineman Jay Tuoa. Polynesians' last names always like give me problems. But there's video of him yelling at the people in the elevator, saying he's gonna beat their ass. He'll knock a bitch out, whatever, and it's pretty graphic. And he threatened some serious violence against the people in the elevator. So another thing to worry about for Chip Kelly, because outside of that LSU win, which ain't looking so great these days, UCLA's back in the shitter. So we'll see how that goes. San Diego State's no longer undefeated. They lost to LA. I'm going to say USC Central, which is just Fresno State. Fresno State with a bunch of LA talent and a bunch of JUCO guys and a bunch of transfers. But a pretty good team. They beat San Diego State. San Diego State's playing Boise State at Carson, Dominguez Hills. I always forget the name of that stadium. But yeah, Dominguez Hills, they're playing them at Carson like 2 weeks. USC's best receiver and potential top 10 pick, Drake London. He fractured his ankle against bum ass Arizona. Arizona is so terrible. I think they're still winless, if I'm not mistaken. They beat them USC's homecoming 41-34. Drake London called a touchdown, 8 catches. He had like 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fractured his ankle. He's done for the year. He had 88 catches, like 1,098 receiving yards, and like 9 touchdowns in 8 games. So he's pretty much on pace to destroy every like receiving record in USC single season history. So I don't know if he even comes back because what are you coming back to? But yeah, so Georgia State hired Clay Helton. Good for them because, like, one thing I'll say about Clay Helton, great dude, just was the wrong coach at USC. Shit ain't really looking great for them. But there's that. So Congress, this is the last thing for college football. Congress wants a law that will change the way the NCAA investigates its member schools because, let's be honest, when the NCAA investigates a college, when they have like all these rapes and sexual assaults and all these Title IX infractions, it's bullshit. They do the most bullshit. What's that? Fucking Huckleberry. I don't know. I forget the name. It's some old ass white show with cops, like the Andy Griffin show. It's like some old ass investigation, the worst possible investigations, the laziest of paperwork. Everybody who's investigating is corrupt. It's conflicts of interest everywhere. So Congress wants to change that. It's funny that's the one thing Congress wants to change, and not the fucking debt ceiling or you know universal income or healthcare, whatever. That's what Congress has its mindset on is college football. But anyway, on to other things. All right, so Jameis Winston tore his ACL. Poor Jameis. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Jameis because the last pass he threw, I guess, was a touchdown. Like like all up there was like a graphic of like all his season ending plays ended in a touchdown. And him tearing his ACL and then being in the fucking locker room on video dancing on one leg. Bro, Jameis Winston is just that's how you know he's a bam ass nigga. Cause he's on his leg dancing in the locker room against the team they were supposed to beat and popped his fucking ACL. Like he was in a fucking air cast and everything. He's in the locker room dancing on one leg. I don't understand it, bro. Like you probably shouldn't do stupid shit like that. Cause you'll make it worse. But it's also Jameis Winston, so it's kind of like, well, what the fuck? If he's okay, I mean, sometimes when you're stupid, God protects you. That's all I can say. Sometimes. But I I don't know. I mean, Trevor Simeon really ain't the answer at QB, so that'll be interesting. But I still got the Saints defense in fantasy because I'm trying to win some money for this fantasy league. For real, for real. I'm already down Derrick Henry, and I need to win because people in my league not doing so many trades. Everybody getting tight because they got the ass whooped early in the season about me, and I was like the top seed for like 3 weeks. But hey, it's not my fault. You just pick the wrong players. All right. So as far as trade deadline goes, obviously the Rams win because they got fucking Von Miller. That's that's just not fair. That's some mad shit. Like if the Rams don't lose though, I don't want to hear shit. Like Chargers fans got all the right to talk shit if the Rams don't go to the Super Bowl. Cause the deck is so stacked in your favor, it's not even funny. Like they're elite at every level now. Their pass rush is elite. Their run stuffing. You got Aaron Donald just by himself, and you got your DBs. So I think the biggest losers definitely are the Packers because how you don't go get Deshawn Jackson from the Rams, they were just giving him away. I mean, I guess he'll pick a contender, but people act like Deshaun Jackson's washed up. The nigga had like a 78-yard touchdown catch this year. He's still faster than most starting DBs, which is crazy to me. Like, and he has Hall of Fame numbers, but the same way they did Cliff Branch, they like to just treat the guys who are burners. They like to treat them. They like to put them in their pocket like they don't really matter. Like Deshaun Jackson is the Allen Iverson of wide receivers. Since he came into the league, coming out of Cal, he's a second round pick. Dude was damn near an all pro kick and punt returner. And then when he became so good at receiver that they couldn't risk him on kick and punt returns, he was averaging 27 yards a fucking catch as a receiver for a couple seasons or 25, like putting up stupid numbers. So there's that. Also, lastly, for Taker Tangent, so Hawthorne High, Lawndale High, Lusinger, and Sarah all made the playoffs in high school football. They're all different divisions. Now, I went to Lawndale High, so full disclosure. 10 years ago, fuck, I'm old. 10 years ago, it was a totally different landscape. Rondo got like all the juice now. They're like Division 5 or 6. And they're whooping on people. Hawthorne, I think it's like Division 14. I think there's 14 divisions now. There was like Division 12, but they're the last division. They're like the bottom of the bottom. But they've been terrible for so long. Um, and they're finally good again. I'm just happy for that high school. Because Londa or Hawthorne has like a legendary reputation. They've put cats in the league. Like, even though Hawthorne was literally the whole South Bay was a sundown town. It still kind of is, depending on where you at. Not really in Lennox. I mean, the cops will fuck with you, but you get too close to Torrance, or you get to like the other side of Inglewood, closer to like Ocean Gate. Like the closer you get to the 405 freeway, um, down Rosecrans. Once you get to the Wiseburn district, which is really still fucking Hawthorne, they just call it Wiseburn because that's where all the rich white people live in their little fucking communities, and they hoard the best education with their little tiny ass school district down Aviation. And it's near LAX. Like that's just where most of the money's located. But with Hawthorne, like all the whole Cincinnati Valley School District is like gone through a facelift with how like they're making the schools look more modern, more presentable, focusing on tech and making certain high schools like a focus high school. Like one's medical and STEM, the other one's like acting and drama and all the other shit. It's good to see like the coaches stick together at Hawthorne and put together a winning team. Losing it under head coach Brandon Maliuna, who played in the NFL for a long time with the Narbonne. They had a bunch of transfers. That's pretty much the rule now for Hawthorne for high school football is the transfer game, but it's a retread because what a lot of these rich white schools do, they come down to the South Bay and pluck a lot of talent. They go down to Inglewood, they go down to Crenshaw, they go down to the hood and say, and Coach Clark from Lindale High has even told you we've had multiple people give up the game. They pretty much pay for these kids to come to. They'll pay you. You could be a star player at the high school that's down the street from your house, but we'll pay you to go to St. John Bosco or Mater Dei or fucking Corona Centennial because Pete can tell you about that with the IE. They'll pay you to do all that to go to these other schools. You'll be a backup there most likely. You won't be a starter because I mean, if you were really that great, you, they would know. They would know like we can't make this obvious. But you got cats having to come back home now. Like, fam, why are you going to St. John Bosco? Why are you getting on a fucking bus? And we all know if you live in the South Bay, you know where those buses go, where they pick kids up to take them to all these schools at 6, 5, and 6 in the morning. Why don't you just wake your ass up at 7 and go to Lindale, Hawthorne, or Lusinger, or Sarah if you can get in? And that's what more kids are doing. They're staying home. They're getting more local. And some kids are transferring because they just want to play because COVID wiped out 2 years of high school football. Let's be real. And for JUCOs who just started back up recently, they wiped out 2 years of JUCO ball. For some people, that ended their careers. They never got that chance. It's done. Your eligibility's shot. It's shit. Um, but it's also good to see that these three schools, public schools, all from the same district, are in the playoffs, and that's just a win in itself. Um, but now, to get to something I really got to get off my chest, because you know, I was gonna save this one, but I'm gonna just get straight to it. So Inglewood High caught several fucking bodies this past week, right? Um, Inglewood High beat Morningside 106-0. Now their quarterback Justin Martin and their head coach Milvon Davis, who like apparently there's a rep that follows him from the last high school is at. He used to run up the score. People say they have problems with him, issues with him. Um, But when it comes to Inglewood High beating Morningside 106-0, honestly, the backlash is the turnover because they don't need no more fucking touchdowns. Like you beat them enough, they're already dead. Like Morningside's 2-8. They lost to losing. You're like 67-0. Morningside has not been good in football since I was in high school, and even then, they were barely good enough to make the playoffs, and then they got clapped. So, you know, it, it's it's not it's not Inglewood's fault that they're so good. It's not their fault that they're so good that it's like, okay, maybe, maybe you should be playing better schools. Here's the catch 22 with that. Yeah, you could say, well, because Morningside's head coach, well, why don't you go do Modern Day like that? Why don't you go do Oaks Christian or whoever like that? Well, those schools aren't gonna fucking play Inglewood. You want to know why? Because if Inglewood, which has like 8 D1 players on it, if Inglewood does the impossible and embarrasses Modern Day, like let's say Inglewood travels to Modern Day and they beat Modern Day in their own fucking house. One, Orange County's racist as shit. You got to get them boys out of there. Um, you can't. They can't afford to be embarrassed by an inner city school full of niggas, because that's, let's be honest. Like Connor Morissette came on here and said plenty of times, it's haves and haves nots in high school football, especially in California. It's cut up, it's chopped up, it's purposely appropriated the way it is. So you guys got to accept that. Yeah, Inglewood beat the dog shit out of Morningside, but hey, you know what? Kids want to play a 10th game. Do what you got to do. Nobody complained. Nobody complained. Ever. No, I agree. They should have never went for two when they were up 100 fucking points. That was disrespectful. That's classless. That's on their head coach. Um, but here's my issue. Inglewood is in a division where they shouldn't be playing Morningside. They're in the same league. Like that's just Inglewood is so good they should have been moved up. There's no mercy rule in city section. They should have been moved up like 3 or 4 divisions by now. Because a couple years ago when they had Lamontanius St. Craig, or he's at Colorado right now. He was like a 4-star recruit. And then their QB who tied the record with JT Daniels for most touchdowns in California football history. Yeah, that's what I said. Inglewood should play Lawndale. Sometime if I was Morningside coach, he's the person who they could play Sarah, but they're not. That's the thing. Sarah's a private school, and like Coach Clark said years ago, he was like, think about it. Yeah, when they won the state title, he said Sarah don't want to play us. Probably really ain't that good. That's true. Probably's whatever. But like Sarah don't want to play us because think about it. If you're trying to build a program and the school's right down, they're like literally. If you keep going down, fucking Marine, Sarah and Lawndale are on the same street, Marine Avenue. If you keep going down Marine from Sarah, you will be right at the doorstep of Lawndale High School, which is bigger and has way nicer shit. Even though Sarah has probably more money, even though Lawndale is rich as fuck. Gardena is too, but it's a lot of corrupt stuff going on. But here's my issue. We're not going to sit up here and wave our fingers at Inglewood when you know damn well Corona Centennial has been doing this shit and dropping 70 on people every fucking year. And they get away with it. Pete, you from Riverside. You know those schools poach talent from neighboring areas and they all go somewhere else. So that school that is like fucking by the way, Inglewood was 0-10 like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. They don't want to talk about that. Y'all just like to conveniently forget that they were literally 0-10. Like they were not good at all. Shit was bad. Like Inglewood was down bad, bro. It was embarrassing for like a good 7 years. Inglewood was last good when they whooped Lawndale's ass in football my freshman year of high school. I'm 29. My freshman year, I was what, 14? That was 15 years ago. That was right after Lawrence Jackson and That D tackle who went to Stanford that they had went to USC. They had just left. And again, CIP city section doesn't have a fucking mercy rule. Now, yeah, Hawthorne last year. No, Inglewood's been good for like 2 years. They were 0-10. Inglewood had like 1 year where they were good, but then they went 0-10, bro. They lost all their talent. This is like when Dorsey was good, and then they lost Kayvon Thibodeau and a bunch of other people. Like, they don't talk about that. Like, a lot of these high schools, like Crenshaw barely could put a fucking team together this year. Like, let's not act like this shit hasn't been hitting these inner city black high schools for years. And I'm telling you, if gentrification gets worse with the stadium around the Rams, if you see a white QB starting at Inglewood High School in the next 10 years, Kenneth Berry fucking told you so. Because that's what it's looking like. If they try to press Milvin Davis out of being head coach at Inglewood, when these white coaches run up the score, Mater Dei runs up the fucking score on everybody. Don't say they don't. Oh, by the way, Sean Dollars, who I think is still at Oregon, guess what? 106-0 against Morningside is the same as 70-0 against a fucking team that Mater Dei beats every year. They get the best player in that team city. Guess what? You know whose fault it is? Morningside's head coach. Didn't Hawthorne high when they were losing year last year? Didn't they put their kids on the bus and dip at halftime? Like, yo, this ain't competitive. We're not doing this. Centennial called the dogs off because they have 137 kids on their fucking sideline, bro. Like, you don't get brownie points for not putting 100 points on somebody. If you score 59 points in the first quarter, that game should have never happened. Centennial's not putting 59 points on people in the first quarter. They're just beating you through attrition. They're giving you the same ass whooping that Inglewood gave Morningside, but they extended throughout the whole game because they got 100 fucking players on their sideline. And let's be honest, most of them cats who were on the sideline, actually, De La Salle, I'm pretty sure definitely gave somebody 100 points in the game. But guess what? De La Salle's been dominant for 40 years, bro. What's worse? One ass whooping 106-0 once, or getting your ass and your shit pushed in, pause, by De La Salle every year for 30 fucking years, bro. I would rather get blown out 106-0 once and never forget that and have it painted on my fucking weight room like Morningside's coach said. See, Morningside's coach took that lesson too far. Once you give up 60 in the first quarter, or 52 in the first quarter, or 60 or 80 in the first half, the game is over. As punishment, I'm saving you from even more embarrassment. I'm taking my kids off the field, and we're going the fuck home. But Centennial does the same thing. Corona Centennial does the same thing to everybody, but they just whoop your ass for 4 quarters to make sure, because, you know, TV deals. It wouldn't look good if they're on prime ticket and they blow somebody out 80-0 at halftime. That would not be good for TV numbers, right? De La Salle's been number one for 20 plus years, Pete. And again, you tell me everybody who went to De La Salle is from that community? There's a reason why a lot of high schools in Oakland are having issues with enrollment. Like, guess what? Inglewood don't have 60 players on their team. They maybe got like 40. In the South Bay, you don't have a sideline full of kids like that anymore. Sarah used to have like 50 to 60 cats, but that's because all them cats went D1 either in football, basketball, or track. It was cats who weren't ever going to play football, but they were suited up. But my thing is, Pete, you can always call in. My thing is, when it comes down to it, you cannot sit up here and get mad at Inglewood for doing this once, and they've never done it before. This hasn't happened in 100 years. This is a fluke. But you know what? You know what Modern Day is going to do? Is drop 70 points again on somebody. And if we're really being honest, hey, De La Salle know where Jesus skeletons are. You're right. De La Salle probably has some shit on the Pope. And if I don't make it home tonight, it's because De La Salle heard me say this. By the way, go back and look at that De La Salle team with Maurice Jones-Drew and DJ fucking Williams. DJ Williams was a grown man in high school. See, people don't like. I don't really get caught up in the fandom of sports. I want to talk about how it affects society and the community. And like Sarah winning that state title, going 14-0 with Robert Woods, Marquise Lee, all them cats. Yeah, they had transfers, but guess what? Most of them cats lived in Inglewood. So that's still local. Inglewood, Gardena, Hawthorne. If you getting talent like cats playing from the Inglewood Jets or cats who live in Carson playing at Narbonne or playing in Lawndale, that's still close. You can like explain that, like, look, Lawndale has the best academics in the state, arguably. I want my kid to go there. Lawndale never hadn't won a state title since like 1966, bro. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is interesting. DJ Williams was bigger than the entire offensive line. He was literally bigger than everybody on the goddamn field at 6'4", 230 playing linebacker. I mean, running back. Oh, yeah, and linebacker. R.I.P. Terrence Kelly, because he was committed to Oregon. De La Salle was definitely blowing people off the ball. What you also got to remember is they've been dominant till this day. In the words of Deontay Wilder, till this day. So you can talk about what Inglewood did was wrong, but I say, okay, give them the money to go travel to Modern Day to pay for their game. Oh, you're not? Shut the fuck up then. Because that's the thing. When you move these schools up competitively, especially in the city, they'll move the kids up to higher divisions. But what they won't do is give you the fucking money and funds to bust them kids there. Why do you think Crenshaw and Dorsey had their first night game in years? Aside from the fact that, you know, niggas be getting killed and shit and shot and shit. Honestly, that's fucked up. Hold on. Pete, you going to hell, bro. I can't believe you just said that. Pete said, bro, how hot would you be if you didn't get in 106-0? Yo, I don't get in 106-0. I think I'm angrier than if I'm like when Washington State lost to UCLA and fucking their quarterback threw 10 touchdowns and threw for 800 yards. I'm like, I'm not killing the D coordinator. I'm shooting the head coach, bro. There's going to be some gun violence in the locker room. If it's 106-0 and you still didn't put me in, coach, what the fuck, bro? At least for the look. It's women in the crowd, bro. Like, I'm trying to damn. I'd have played JV kids. I'd have played red shirt kids. I'd have pulled people from the stands and said, fuck it. You got eligibility? Get out there. But I mean, again, that's on Morningside's coach. He should have called the game at halftime or even the first quarter. I would have called it at halftime. Hey, we get on the bus. We're getting the fuck out of here, bro. Take your pads off. We're going home. The game is over. They can't stay and make you play. What are they going to do? They're going to stay and make you play? They're going to hold you down? They're going to force the ball in your hand and make you run and get knocked out by Inglewood's players? No, you chose to play the second half. I would have said, fuck y'all, I'm going home. I would have put a card in and said, screw you guys, I'm going home. That's what I would have done. I would have said, hey, yo, we out of here, bro. It's 82-0 at halftime. You can suck my monkey nuts. Like, you could suck, seriously, like, man, and how embarrassing would it be, like, you come home, like, I didn't play. What was the score? 106-0. 160, and you didn't play? How trash are you? You realize, like, he just ruined the psyche of all his kids. Why would I come back to Morningside the next year? I lost 106-0 and didn't get no run, didn't get no burn. I lost 106-0. My coach didn't even fucking put me in. We're already losing. I can't get hurt worse. I mean, you can, but like, clearly you don't care about running up the score. If you're not going in the game, then play the whole team. And if the whole team still plays and y'all still getting whooped, leave the stadium. I don't care if it's a home game. Hey, game's over. Fuck y'all. Go home. Pick all this shit up. Take it out with you. Season's over. That was their last game of the season. That's your last. Imagine you a senior getting blown out 160 by Inglewood. You're like, why are we on the field with these motherfuckers? This is disrespectful. Like, somebody needs to call the police. I would have called the police. I would have pulled Karen. They are killing these boys. They are never going to mentally recover. Bro, I'm punching. I'm at this point, you gotta just you gotta literally just play happy ball. Hey, we're just gonna do rugby scrums. We're not coming out in 5 linemen. We're just gonna run the fucking Maryland eye. We're just gonna have 8 dudes in the backfield, and that's how we're just gonna play this. We're just gonna literally run triple reverses all game. Like, literally at this point, you gotta flip a coin to see who plays QB. I know at least one linebacker will let the coach let me play QB. For real. Hey, coach, you got to literally just make the skills, play offensive line, and put all the linemen at receiver and running back. Because linemen will give you some extra effort. We may not be fast or athletic, but damn it, we're going to get 2 tough yards. We'll get 2 tough yards. We'll chip the D in, and there's at least one athletic lineman who can catch on every team. And he'll get you a first down. But if he gets injured, you're fucked. But don't sit up here and kick in Inglewood's back for what they did when Corona Centennial is known for it. St. John Bosco is known for it. Yeah, Vita Vea. Dude, I would never want to play football in Hawaii because all them Samoan cats, you fucking sick. Imagine being a 6'7", 330-pound high school player and they let you play receiver or running back. Would you want to have to deal with a crackback as a corner who's probably like 5'8", 130 pounds, and it's a 6'7", 330-pound fucking son of Thanos out there at receiver? Like, yeah, Centennial doesn't have to embarrass you 100-0, but they got 5 deep on their depth chart, and honestly, 30 of those kids shouldn't even be at that fucking school. Why don't you go to a neighboring school and be good? And just accept that, hey, like Hawthorne, we're not the best right now. We're not going to play like a Lawndale or a Lawndale or a Lusinger because we're not that good yet. But you can sit up here and play, shit. Hawthorne blew out Morningside, bro. Hawthorne blew out Morningside. Come on. Although, yeah, it's a buddy system. That's why there's never been a black coach in Orange County football history. Let's talk about it. You want to talk about it, Pete? You want to talk about this? Is where I let the racism go like a frisbee, or like a boomerang, just so it can come back. Let's talk about the inherent racism, because again, none of those Orange County schools got the balls to come down to Inglewood and play Inglewood, so Justin Martin can get a good look. Justin Martin could get a good look against St. John Bosco. He'd get a good look against Narbonne. He'd get a good look against the Sarah or Lawndale in preseason. You got 5 preseason games, bro. Y'all can play each other. But if people want to trade tape, if people want to act like assholes, then yeah, it's not going to happen. But I'm happy, even if you in the worst of it, Gardena won a state title 2 years ago before COVID. And Gardena was trash forever. They went undefeated and won a state title, I think. Or lost like one school. But like Centennial doesn't duck you, but they will wait till you have your best season possible and then play you. But they won't play you consistently. Let's be honest. Modern Day don't play no hood schools. Modern Day doesn't play hood schools, period. Why? Because they're a private high school. They get the best recruits. Hell, St. John Bosco's in Bellflower. That's pretty much fucking Long Beach. Like, Lawndale and Lusinger don't play each other because Lawndale beat the dog shit out of Lusinger like every time they played. Lawndale won the Mayor's Cup like 4 times. Like, they literally dropped like 60, 50, 40 points. It was like 50, 60, 40 to 0. It wasn't competitive. Like, USC used to blow everybody out. But USC would call off the dogs. Inglewood's head coach didn't call off the dogs, clearly. And they were more talented. But again, this is a conversation we got to have in person because you gonna sit up here and act like fucking Vontez Burfict wasn't actually out here squeezing people's balls in the bottom of piles and they were up by 30 in the second quarter. You sit up here acting like Corona Centennial, JJ Taylor, and fucking Taylor Martinez weren't house calling in the third quarter. You sitting here acting like that shit didn't happen. Oaks Christian was out there blowing people out quietly in the middle of nowhere. All these OC high schools get away with the same thing Inglewood did, but it's just it looks worse because of the score. But you know what's worse? Oaks Christian, I think, played Sarah, and Sarah almost beat their ass. I think Michael Pittman was on the team. I think Sarah did beat them, but it was like years ago. Michael Pittman was at Oaks Christian. Yeah, that was a crazy game. That was one of the games of the year when we were looking at it. Oaks Christian, like Sarah, when they went 14-0, that was huge for the South Bay, bro. Like that was some legendary shit. But yeah, like when I think of USC getting clapped by Bama, like you said, that's what modern day and all these other schools get away with every year. And it's worse to do that every year and poach talent. Sean Dollars fucking transferred from his high school to play football at modern day and then transferred back to his other high school. Michael Pittman definitely was fast enough to go to Sarah, and he put up All American numbers when he was at Oaks Christian, bro. Go look up Michael Pittman's numbers in high school. He was fucking stupid. Will Smith's son would play at Oaks Christian, but he was trash. But we all know the story behind that. But yeah, you can't. I just can't. And I know I've gone really long with this, but like high school football is important, and you want to put kids in a position to succeed. You don't want to break them psychologically. They're already living in poverty. They're already dealing with. Most people don't even know where Morningside High School is. So honestly, all y'all kicking their back in could eat a bag of dicks because you don't even know where on Crenshaw is Morningside. You don't fucking know. And for everybody like Keith went to Inglewood, fuck Morningside or Morning Clyde, Morning Slide. They got all types of foul names for Morningside. I mean, I don't like Morningside either because when we played them, I think it was my junior or senior year. The refs cheated us, and they cheated us in one game. But no, Sarah played against Oaks Christian in the playoffs one year, and it was one of the greatest fucking games ever. And I want to say Sarah beat them, but you got to go back and look to like 2009, 2010. That was an era, bro. Especially like when nobody wanted to play Sarah like that. Niggas were scared. I forget what high school Brad Kaya went to, but that was the one high school who had the balls to play Sarah all the time. And I can't remember. I think it might have been Chaparral. I can't remember the name of the high school, but yeah, it's right down the street from SoFi. Morningside is the closest high school next to SoFi, outside of Inglewood High. They're right there. So maybe SoFi they should sponsor Morningside because damn, they need some help. All I'm saying is if I'm gonna punish Inglewood, I'm gonna give them the financial resources to go out and play teams out in the valley. I'm gonna give them the financial resources. He never wants. You never want to hear the name Brad Kai again. His mom actually has a successful vegan business out in L.A. So salute to black business. And Brad Kai's mom is Felicia from Friday. So show some respect. But yeah, I guess it's fuck Brad Kai. He should have stayed at Miami. Miami was actually good with him at QB, and he really should have stayed another year. But he went to the Steelers, and we see how that worked out. Um, I'm not giving Inglewood's head coach a pass at all, Pete. I'm just saying, yeah, he was wrong, but so is all these other head coaches who you build a system to where you can run up 60 to 50 points a year on everybody you play. You poach the best talent from everywhere. Stephen Morris, wow. Wow. But yeah, you poach the talent. Miami is like the one school that gets all the QBs they want, but they still suck. Like at least LSU got Joe Burrow and like, oh shit, this is what they can do with an elite quarterback play. Because they get everything else. Miami, all this talent, and you still suck. But anyway, back to. By the way, also it skips my mind, but apparently Art Briles might get the TCU job. He's up. Art Briles is back, and he might be up for a D1 college football job after all that shit that happened. with the Baylor rape situation. I'm not going to rehash it tonight, but y'all can just go look it up. Um, yeah, that's it on the Inglewood Morningside thing. Bottom line is, these are my 3 points. Get off Inglewood's dick, because most of you don't know where Morningside High is. Most of you probably have never been to Inglewood High, and you wouldn't go over to that area at night. So shut the fuck up. Second off, yo, okay. So Morningside alum pull up with a Draco next year or some kickoff gun. They probably will fuck around and shoot themselves, bro. Morningside is fucking trash. Fuck Morningside High in football. I don't care. I still say that. One of our teachers actually was their principal. Like, dude, I used to catch the bus home from work every night and pass Morningside and be like, fuck Morningside. That's why nobody knows where you are. Everybody passes down Crenshaw and realizes, oh, I just passed Morningside. Yeah, when I used to come home from CSUN, like, Morningside's right down Crenshaw, bro. Literally, when you go to Wingferno or whatever the fuck that spot is right there, that wing spot next to the Papa John's, next to the fire station, literally Morningside is right there in the ass crack shadow of SoFi Stadium. They are literally right there. They literally are right there. Man, I'm gonna talk to Keith. We just gonna start a group chat called "Fuck Morningside High Football" or sports, whatever. But nah, pray for that high school because they need it. All jokes aside, Lisa Leslie went to Morningside, so show some respect. But yeah, they'll bump up the division and make you play tougher opponents, but they won't provide you the money to travel to those schools. And those schools also aren't going to come out to Inglewood because they don't want to be around a bunch of niggas. Because, I mean, unless Inglewood starts playing teams from the Valley, from from North in the Northridge area, unless they play Reseda High or some shit like that. But what's the point of those two teams playing each other? It makes no sense. They're so far in the cut, you don't even know they're bleeding. Literally, Morningside High is like a fucking, it's like a fucking, a fatty corpuscle. That's what Morningside High is. They're a fatty corpuscle. That they're so far in the cut, you don't even know they're there. Take that how you want it. But yeah, these same high schools that you call legendary or esteemed or private, they do the same shit and they do it every year, and nobody talks about it. So that's the end of that. That's the end of the high school football thing. But touchdown to turnover. Deshawn Jackson getting waived by the Rams. Now he's a free agent. I think it's a touchdown for him. He can pick a contender. If I were him, I mean, I wouldn't go to Tampa Bay. They're not going to throw him the ball, and he's already been to Tampa Bay. That shit didn't work out. Um, I would go to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw Deshawn Jackson the ball. He's going to be like, fuck it. He's down there somewhere. Equinemius St. Brown ain't doing shit. Yeah, Pete, you and your Notre Dame receivers. Remember when you said all the St. Brown brothers are going to eat in the NFL and they're starving right now? Starving for catches. Go look up Amon-Ra St. Brown stats. And he's wearing number 14, which is trash, but we've already been over that. And nobody knows where Osiris is. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, hurt, not doing shit for the Packers. I mean, Robert Tonyan tore his ACL. So, cow to cow. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would have to be Deshaun Jackson goes to Green Bay or he goes to the Chargers. He could go to the Chargers now. If you put Deshaun Jackson in the slot and be like, look, Herbert, throw him the fucking ball. Like, it's not a 50-50 if Deshaun Jackson's open downfield. It's a 90, it's a 0 to 100 real quick because you're not catching him from behind. He slows down to mock you when he walks into the end zone. Shout out to Justin Forsett. No, he wasn't the best back at Cal. Shout out to Javid Best. Pray for that man's head injuries and seizures because he's had a lot of them. But yeah, Um, that's a touchdown. I really hope Deshaun Jackson goes to the Chargers. Stay in LA. Herbert's gonna get you the ball. Unless he really wants to make sure he makes the playoffs and then he goes to the Green Bay Packers. But I mean, for him, the Chargers make too much sense. Like, hey, you just need a number three. When Mike Williams is dropping passes or not catching balls, and Keenan Allen might be hurt or whatever, you have Deshaun Jackson, which is a guaranteed deep threat. Um, yeah, and Odell versus the Cleveland Browns. They need to just cut Odell. Like the Colts should have just traded or cut Marlon Mack because that's foul. They need to cut Odell. Odell should just go to Vegas, or Deshaun Jackson can go to Vegas. Either way, either Deshaun's going to Vegas or Odell's getting cut and he's going to Vegas. But one of those guys has to go to Vegas because a vacancy just opened up. That's it. Pretty much it. So I got Guyton is inconsistent, bro. If you have Deshaun Jackson as your number 3 or even a 4, I'm throwing to him. I'm throwing him on a deep route. He's faster than your safety. Still. And also like Herbert needs to be able to feel comfortable enough to just throw it 70 yards downfield. And she started to have Josh Gordon, and he's not doing shit. I would stay far away from the Chiefs. I would be looking at Baltimore, maybe. Baltimore might be nice for Deshaun Jackson. Uh, I mean, maybe if he really wants to go play for Belichick in New England, Buffalo even. Bro, don't sit up here and compare Zay Jones to Deshaun Jackson. That's disrespectful. But anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. Been here a while. Uh, Life is a lot like baby vomit. It's gross. It's disgusting. You're like, fuck, this little motherfucker just threw up on me again. Um, but when you think about baby vomit and what it consists of, especially if they're under 6 months, it's just water and formula. Like they can't help themselves. Stop saying Deshaun Jackson is like Spencer James, bro. That's disrespectful. And I know you didn't watch the whole fucking series of All American, so you capping. That is a lead though, and if it's not a lead, it's definitely a nut graph. But yeah, life is a lot like baby vomit. Um, can't really hurt you. It's just a mess, and it consists of whatever you fed the fucking baby. Like if you fed the baby some shit and he threw up some shit, that's on you. But I mean, if it's a baby who's eating and it's water and just baby formula, like shit happens, man. Like you can't. You just clean it off and you keep moving. And this week has kind of just taught me a lot to just clean shit off and keep it moving. It's all you can really do. Apparently, also Kanye shaved his eyebrows off. I just don't give a shit anymore about that. Um, Pete, if you want to call in and say something, you can. If not, I'm in the show. Uh, Shots X Squad affiliates, TGN Sports, Good News Radio. Download the app. Stop being a little bitch. Download the app. It's free. It's a black man's media company, umbrella, conglomerate, with a ton of other shows by black people, Latinos, everybody under the fucking sun, with dope stuff, dope content. So peep it. Listen to it. Pete will probably be back next week. Thanks, Pete. Salute. Um, and yeah, I already take PG's video. I actually did that before the show started. But yeah, man. Yeah, life is like baby vomit, and Eternals is probably gonna suck. So I guess it's a Marvel movie we all have to sit through and watch. And salute to my nephew Isaiah. He's thrown up on me 5 times this week, and I just get like clairvoyant thoughts every time he does it. I don't know. I guess that's God for you. But yeah, I'm out, you guys, and Yeah. Let me play some shit.
Hey guys, you got to check out.
I don't know what the fuck that was. That was terrible. That scared me. We're gonna go. Let's see.
So you think your sneakers look good, huh?
Check this out.
I don't know. Wow, these are some terrible drops. Let's try this again.
Touchdown!
Hopefully. See, this is what happens when the screen's too small and you can't see shit. But all right, for real. Kenneth Berry, touchdown Sanders. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Pete, Mom, Larry Goodwill. Salute. Nah, fuck that. Wait.
Touchdown.
Okay. Everybody on StreamYard, salute to y'all. I'm out this bitch. Peace.